In today's video, we're going to talk about the best places to live around Oceana Naval Air Station, and we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Santalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area, and that goes from Virginia Beach and through Williamsburg, and I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. Today, we're going to be talking about the best spots to live around Oceana Naval Air Station. Transfers are a big deal in Oceana, people coming in and out all the time, and so the question often is, where are the best places to live around Oceana? Well, there are a lot, but there are different styles and a lot of different options. And depending on what your needs and wants are, you might want different things and might want different neighborhoods. So what we're going to do is talk about places that are close to Oceana, like the closest spots that, if it were, in my opinion, my favorite spots in different price ranges and locations, as well as outside of like the 10-15 minute range, further out and saying, okay, if you want to go a little bit further drive to work to the base, what best spots are there around the Oceana Naval Air Station as well. If you look on the map, I'm going to show you first where Oceana is. You see it's on the eastern side of Virginia Beach. So what we're going to do first is focus on if you do want very close, if you really need to be very close to Oceana. If you see on the right hand side, the eastern side and the south side, that's where most of the houses are that are that close to Oceana. The main neighborhoods I want to mention that are very close, that are also a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper, are Dam Neck Estates, Strawbridge, and also Red Wing. Those are three neighborhoods that have like a 3-bed, 2-bath kind of concept, 1,300, 1,200 square feet, sometimes even 11 up to 15, 16, 1,700 square feet. And the fact that I'm mentioning this is because those prices are all going to be lower, like in the mid to low $300,000 price range. And so if you want something cheaper and also very close, like 5 minutes, 8 minutes away from Oceana, the front gate at Tomcat Boulevard, then those are spots I would focus on if you want to keep the prices lower. If you notice, on the eastern side, east of Oceana, there's a lot of beach. So closer to the beach, the ocean front, the Vibe District, Curratan, these beach access points, these are going to be upwards of $1 million and up. But coming off of there, you've got Shadow Lawn is another one, the Vibe District. As you come off of there, you're going to be getting a little bit cheaper beach access. But if you don't want that, you're like, Sam, I don't need the beach necessarily. I just want to be closer to work or get a bigger house. Okay, well, that's where you focus more further south. Now, that a lot of neighborhoods are around the south part of Oceana, going further, even down to the border, where all this area is called Pungo. This is the country part of Virginia Beach. But from Pungo north to the Oceana base, a lot of suburbs, a lot of houses, different types of neighborhoods. Most of them are newer. So we're talking 80s some, but a lot of them are 90s, 2000s and up. And the reason is because as Virginia Beach had grown, and as you see, Virginia Beach is a large city, as it grew on the south side and the east side, more newer construction was being built. Most of this area in the north side and the west side was already built, 80s and before, 50s, 60s. So a lot of older houses in those parts of town. So the south part is going to have a lot of newer houses in it. So that could be a benefit if you like that style, because most of the areas that have that kind of more modern-ish concept are going to be closer to the south and southeastern sections of Virginia Beach, south of Oceana. So, namely, some neighborhoods I want to mention are going to be Ocean Lakes. Big neighborhood, has townhouses and single-family houses. I'll drop a pin here so you can see kind of what I'm talking about here. There are different types of houses in Ocean Lakes. The smaller ones, they're in the 3s. The houses are going to be in the 4s and 5s. So you'll see a mixture of what's in Ocean Lakes, but it also has an HOA with a pool, which is uncommon for the price range. And it's a large neighborhood. And there's some parks as well, some smaller parks. Upton Estates is right across the street, another neighborhood in the 400s price range. So separate from Ocean Lakes, just further south of there is Red Mill. And I've mentioned Red Mill before in other videos. Red Mill is an awesome spot that is just off of Red Mill Boulevard, but near two main shopping centers. I'll drop a pin here. It's either Red Mill Commons is one, and also Strawbridge is another. And there are a lot of minor shopping areas near there, but those are the two primary ones. Red Mill is going to be in the 4s and 5s price range. Then some others in the same general area. Pine Meadows is one that has a lot of ranch style houses in the 4s and 5s, mostly 5s now. And also Hunt Club Forest, as you go further west, away from Ocean Lakes, you'll see some areas over off London Bridge Boulevard that are also like just off of, I'll drop a pin here. This is Hunt Club Forest. And so you see same kind of thing, because it's the same type of house built in the same kind of time period. So that's also in the 4s and getting to the 5s as well. Now, going in the higher price ranges, there are some that are close to Oceana. Number 1 is going to be Lagomar. Lagomar is just east and kind of southeast of Red Mill. And this area right here, there's 2 signs, the older and newer side. Where are we at? There we go. New side here, old side here. One on the south side has a lot more trees. It's a bit kind of an older type of area because the houses were built back, 15, 20 years before. But also several more. If you want to be on a lake that's close by and it's not ocean lakes, South Shore Estates is a good option if you want to be like right near Oceana, like several minutes away, but you want to be on some sort of a lake. These are going to be in the 8s most likely, but again, you can see there's lake access, and it's just a nice size lake. It's just not huge, but most of the area does not have lake access at all, which is why this is so unique. Some others going further east is Castleton, a very, I'd say, popular design neighborhood that's similar to Courthouse Estates that is further south. These are also built in the kind of late 90s time period. These are going to be like good for very like modern. As you walk into the house, you'll see a lot of open entryway areas, like that big regal entrance. There are more houses in here that have that kind of vibe to it. And there are several neighborhoods that are in Castleton that have different types of houses in them. That being said, these are the types of houses that are built in the time period now where you're going to start seeing a lot of the HVAC, roof, and water heaters, windows, all those things are going to start becoming aged to the point that where they might need to be replaced. So a lot of houses, if you want a house in a place like Castleton, you're going to be looking for how many of those types of things have been already replaced and how many will you have to do pretty soon, because this is the time period where you might need to do that. But zooming out, across the street from there is Prince George Estates and also Mayberry, 2 small neighborhoods, but also if you want something a little bit different, larger lot size, these are going to be in the 7s and 8s, but good options, but they're also, close to the base. Moving further south, there's a neighborhood called Mirasol that's over near Nemo Parkway that's, I think, is great for the price, like in the 7s-ish, kind of just near between Lagomar and Red Mill Farm. Another one is called Princess Anne Woods that I like a lot. It's kind of the nook that comes off of Seaboard Road that I like a lot for the price. Now, moving away from beyond 10 minutes or so from the base, if you want to do that, you start opening up a lot more options because the area is so big. But you'll see that a lot of the driving that you'll need to go from place to place takes you around 15 minutes anywhere, like 15, 20 minutes. That's very normal. So a lot of the area going to Oceana is no different. So going further south from where we've been talking about, there are some neighborhoods I want to mention. Going further south, closer to Pungo, there aren't too many in the southeastern side that are under $400,000. Most of this area is going to be going into like the 6s, 7s, 8s, and up. Places like Heron Ridge, which is near the Heron Ridge Golf Club, a great neighborhood, very, very nice, like in the 8s and up. Other ones, Asheville Park and Heritage Park, great ones across the street from Princess Anne Road. Some of the more modern-ish style houses that are awesome in the 7s and up. And then as you go across the street, Sherwood Lakes is across the street, and that neighborhood, you're talking 7s and up, that has some nice views of the water. Not too many are on the lake, but if you can get one, it's great. And as you go further west, some neighborhoods to mention: Kingston Estates, which is off West Neck Road, a newer construction neighborhood off of West Neck Road, and next to that is Indian River Plantation. There's another one of the most exquisite custom built houses in here, like $800,000 to well over $1 million, most of Indian River Plantation, as well as Courthouse Estates, which is more like just like Castleton, going to be in the 5s and 6s mostly. You'll see some that might dip under a 450, 475 maybe, but most of them are going to be around 5 and up. The country areas of Virginia Beach are in the south central area, so some options are going to be up and down Indian River Road. For example, one is Hillcrest Farms, a great neighborhood I like a lot for mostly the 5s and 6s. Then as you go further west, away from that newer construction side, you're going to be more into the Salem area, going into Kempsville. These areas are built in the 80s and prior. The reason this matters is because this is where you'll start seeing houses that are smaller, like what you saw over on the east side of Oceana. This area has some spots worth mentioning: Salem Woods, Salem Lakes, Rock Creek. Those are in the 3s and 4s right now. Salem Woods is going to be closer to 5s at this point right now. Then further west from there, you have others that are in the 3, 4, 5 bedroom range. You have Brigadoon, you got Brandon, you got a lot of neighborhoods near Lake James, Lake Christopher, all through here. These are in the anywhere from $350 upwards of $700,000-$800,000 on the lake of Lake James, but some nice like functional housing on the west side of the area here. And if you want to focus on that, I'd stick to this southwestern side if you don't want a newer house like right next to Oceana. Another neighborhood I want to mention, the central section of Virginia Beach, is near Mount Trashmore and near Town Center is Windsor Woods, which is right smack dab almost in the center. This is getting closer to Oceana. It's going to be about 17 minutes or so, but driving from there, other neighborhoods near there are great, like Larkspur, Bellamy Manor, Fairfield, all through here as well. So a lot more brick ranch, brick 2-story all through here. But if you want a little bit cheaper house, you don't want to be in the southeastern section, I would shift attention towards the west side. Now, the other part I want to talk about is the northern section of Virginia Beach, because generally speaking, this is where you'll see more of the classic in-demand areas like Little Neck, Great Neck, and Thorogood on the western side of the area. This whole north section is like the classic. If you want to be in Virginia Beach and you want that nice old construction, well-built house, this is where you're going to find most of it. And they're going to be anywhere from the 4s. Most of them are going to be in the 5s through $1 million to $2 million and $5 million on the water, you know? So a lot of neighborhoods in here, Allenton, Baycliff, Wimbledon, Green Hill Farms, those are going to be in the higher price range. As you go further south, general rule, the further south you go, which is near Hilltop, which is a very popular shopping area that I think you'll probably end up going to a lot, the further south you go, the cheaper the prices are in Great Neck, as well as in Little Neck. These two, you'll have a lot of nice brick ranch, brick 2-story, and the further north you go, you'll see larger lots, you know, stately houses, you know, 3, 4, 5,000 plus square foot. As you go further north into Little Neck and Great Neck, you can get a house in Little Neck, in Kings Grant, a very popular neighborhood in Little Neck, for, you know, 2,300 square foot for about $550, you know, ish, maybe even close to $6 at this point. So the further north you go, it gets more expensive. And Thorogood's a great other alternative if you want to be closer to the beach, like near Shore Drive, up near Chicks Beach, the other great beach on the north side here. If you want to be close to there, but also want a neighborhood with a lot more land, like maybe say a lot more land, like a half an acre, 3/4 of an acre, more options like that. For the 6s through $1 million and up, you can get into Thorogood and have more of those options. So there are also going to be older houses. So depending on what kind of size house and options you want, you'll be looking at totally different parts of the area. So if you have any other questions about relocating to Hampton Roads, Oceana Naval Air Station, if you have questions about like best options, best neighborhoods, all that stuff, I have my contact information in the description. I help people all the time relocate to this area. I'll do whatever I can to help you and answer all your questions, and I will see you on the next video.